never done live like this, but I'm hoping to show you guys some moth stuff. So I'm just at my computer right now, seeing how well this is working, and, oh, live chat. Oh, I can view my chat here. Okay, so yeah, I just gotta make sure this is working. Oh boy. Sounds like there's wind. There's not wind, it's just my crappy microphone. Maybe I'll have things better in the future when I charge my new mic. Hi Hazelnut, welcome! Hi! Welcome to the stream. I'm testing out, this is gonna be a little stream, but I wanna start streaming my videos more because it's interactive that way. I like the interaction, it's pretty nice, and I can talk about what I need to without feeling like I have to edit the whole thing and make a big deal out of it. So, hi Eric, welcome! Can you guys hear me okay? Because I can, except it sounds like there's wind, which there isn't, but crappy old phone microphone, so I mean, there's not that much I could do about it. So tell me if you can hear me, please. But I wanted to talk a little bit about my moths and show my setup. This is a really gross setup right now because I haven't been home for a while. So I just whipped it together really fashionably quick so that you guys can just get a gist of it. Can my phone screen? Yes, it can turn. Okay, hello everybody. I'm Miss Willow, aka Amber, but I am going to be showing you guys some of my lepidoptery, which is the studying of moths and butterflies, except I specialize, don't fall, doing this all one-handed, stop it, I specialize in moths. Moths are my passion. I love moths, I love art, I love games, so all of that is my channel right now, and I want to give you guys a little tour of what's going on in my amothicary. So I have a big pop tent, as you can see. Again, some things are a mess, and I apologize about that. This is my big female Polyphemus. She's been with me for a while, so she's getting a little old. You can see her wings are starting to get crusty. She's not as versatile as she used to be. But can I focus, camera? Focus. It doesn't want to focus, but this is her. She's quite small. Yeah, giant silk moths, some of them do fall as a defense mechanism. She is okay, and 9 out of 10 times she will land on her feet, kind of like a cat. So if she falls, don't be alarmed. That's supposed to scare me because I'm a big scary bird. Hi pink clouds. Yeah, I'm showing off my moths today in my little moth sanctuary. This is Polyphemus moth. They're native to where I live and a very common backyard moth, except we don't usually see them because of their short lifespan. They live for a couple days, find a mate, make eggs, and then they run out of energy and die because they've evolved to not have mouth parts, so they can't eat. So basically, see how chonky she is? That's all her energy stored up as fat, and when she uses all that up, she's laying an egg on me. Lovely. Thank you so much for the egg. Thanks for giving me an egg on live. They lay really big eggs. They look like little macarons, but this one's kind of white. Let me see if I can take that off. Oh, I'll have to add that macaron to my collection. I have a bunch of her infertile eggs in here, as you see. I have a lot of them. They're big. But it's not sad to them. That's their purpose in life, so it's kind of disappointing that I didn't have a male hatch at the same time. These lighter colored pupae are the ones I have left. This one's male. Show you what that is. But she's gorgeous. So they try not to fly as little as they can because they know they're gonna use up all their energy unless they have to. So instead of flying away from predators, they've got these. Come on, Missy, ma'am, madam. Can I show off your wings? They've got these big eye spots. They look like, you know, if you're a big bird and you poke them off, I didn't hurt her. I'm just showing for science. She's gonna flash those big eyes, and Bird's gonna say, oh, that's an owl, and run away. So yeah, big moth. Males have big, fat, wide antennae. As you see, her antennae are kind of skinny. That's an indicator that she's female, and she's obviously laying eggs. This is over here. That's so interesting. Oh, thank you. I really do think so. I find moths is so fun to look after and explore. There's just like I love butterflies and all, but they are, everybody loves butterflies. That's the problem. There's not that many of them. Butterflies and moths are all part of the same order, Lepidoptera. They're basically kind of the same thing, brothers and sisters though, but 90% of that make up moths. Only around 10% are butterflies. So if you think about it, there are way more moths out there to discover and appreciate. It's kind of like going out and finding new Pokemon, in my opinion. Sort of like that. There's a lot going on with that. But she's getting old. I'm gonna show you guys the scales. They're fuzzy, but that's because there's little scales on them that make up their patterns and wings. That's important for them to fly, and so that their patterns don't rub off, because it'll be harder for them to find a mate, and predators won't be able to see their spots anymore. So one of the safest ways, for that reason aside from a lot of others, is there's a special way to pick up a moth, and I tried to make a video about that earlier, but I just didn't like the video, so I removed it. I wanted to get a better, accurate description. Come on, little one. Don't be like that. She doesn't really want to be picked up that way. But, for easy transport, there's a way of holding their wings together so that they don't struggle and end up hurting themselves. A lot of people, if they saw a quick video like that, would see that as really inhumane. So I wanted to try and make a video where I had the time to really explain it and why it's important to hold a creature by the wings like this. Of course, do not rip the moth off of whatever it's holding on to, because that could definitely hurt it. But there are other ways of holding a moth where your thumb is on their back, but they can still flap their wings and they will destroy their wings trying to escape you. Plus, if you want to end up pinning them, which I do not kill my moths to pin. A lot of people will think that, because people do. People don't like the raggedy ends that they get when they live their life, so people will euthanize their butterflies and moths by freezing them once they're at a pretty stage, so that they die without damaged wings. I do not do that. I do not agree with that. I think that is absolutely horrible and unethical. So the moths that I pin are my best quality after they've died naturally. Pink Cloud says moths are just the hated twin. Yeah, when people say, oh, you breed moths? They're thinking about bread moths and like clothes moths and stuff like that. There's an entire world of moth out there that is beneficial to the environment. They pollinate flowers. They drink nectar. There's a whole lot of moths get a bad rap, and because people don't take the time to learn about them. There's some that are harmful to us. There are some that are pests. There's some that are not pests. There's some that are really, really good for the environment, and ones that are natural out there, they go flower to flower, and sometimes they do this at night usually. There are day-flying moths, like the hummingbird moth. Believe it or not, these are hummingbird moth pupae right here. They will mimic hummingbirds, and they will actually drink nectar. That's why, and I've had those before. I have a section on my channel for the hawk moths. That's why I have the little feeder for them, because of a sponge. So I don't want them drowning in it and getting their wings. It gets really sticky. So I get a sponge that fills in the whole thing so they can drink from the sponge, but they don't get their wings all clobby with it. You can also go through there if they wanted, but they drink that. And those are actually come from hornworms. Hornworms turn into hawk moths. You can tell it's a hornworm because it'll have a big old horn on the end of it. Pink Cloud says, before I saw a fully intact Luna moth wing outside. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Gosh, I had a Luna moth that died in a really beautiful way, and I saved it to pin, but once I came back to it, I did not, hold on, I'm trying to open a container with my hand. It's not going to work. Putting this here. There we go. I have Luna moths, and I do have Luna moths right here. These are Luna moths. They're going to become, oops, sorry guys, sorry. Those are going to become Luna moths. These three are, as far as I'm concerned, have some pinned, have my last year's batches pinned. My partner calls those pencil shaving moths. Virginian tiger moth. That's from last year. They overwintered. They're hibernating for a long time. That's those. These are some various cutworms. You know, people hate cutworms and all, but beautiful moths. These are my, oh, there's somebody else. This is somebody else. She's almost getting ready. These guys are my Polyphemus. These four with the ridgeback stripe are Promethea moths. And the hawk moths, that's a Polyphemus, by the way. So I have a bunch of more that are slowly getting ready. Their wing patterns, she's getting there. I mean, no, he. The antennae are huge and they touch in the middle. That means it's a boy. When you can see the legs in the middle of the antenna, that's a female. Males, again, like this, both can't see any legs, both antennae are huge, meet and touch in the middle. So that's male. This is an oddly gigantic male. He has good weight to him. But yeah, finally got the lid off of this. These are my tobacco hornworms. They become the Carolina sphinx moth right here, aka a type of hummingbird moth. But they are doing all right. I did have some NPV sweep by. NPV comes from it's a virus, nuclear polyhedrosis virus. It can come from pesticides, and that's why it's very important to be careful what you feed these guys, or any insect in that matter, any chewing insect, because their alkaline bodies are attacked by pesticides very harshly, and once it wipes out one, it infects, it spreads out, and it infects the whole colony. And, you know, caterpillars don't have an immune system, so some are born with better genes than others that are more immune than others, but some of them will live. But there's a good chance that all of them will die, so that's a huge problem. I am raising Bombyx mori, domesticated silk moth. So these guys are what are responsible for making silk clothing. They are mass-produced and mass-killed in the industry for it, although there is a less perfect, more rougher version of silk that is made humanely, called piece silk, and it's done without killing the cocoon or moth inside. People only kill them because when you have a silk cocoon, it's one thread, and if that thread is broken to let the moth hatch, that ruins the quality of the silk in the industry, so they are all boiled to death, so that people can get their pretty soft silk. But I don't do that. I'm gonna be harvesting the cocoons and making silk soap. There, you can make soap with it. These guys are rather big compared to a couple days ago when I saw them. But they eat mulberry leaves. So all this green stuff is rehydrated mulberry powder. They really like eating that. That's their host plant. Eric says, I tried taking a picture of a really big moth, almost similar to the one you showed, darker spots, but it was very skittish. Oh, wow. If I saw a picture, you know, I could probably identify that for you. But that's awesome. I heard that their cocoons are really thick. The domesticated ones, they need help getting out. I don't know if that's true. I heard it from a cool moth channel. Yeah, it is true. Some of them will hatch on their own, no problem, but we've domesticated them for thousands of years, to the point where, one, they can't fly anymore. Their wings don't have the muscles to do so. Kind of same thing with how wolves were turned into dogs, and how does a chubby little pug that doesn't have like really much of the same instincts and stuff anymore come from something wild with all these benefits to it and smarts. Same thing with the domestic silk moth. We've bred it so many times to do a task for us that we don't want them to fly. Eventually they're in captivity so long they lose that muscle ability. We bred them for their silk. Their silk became thicker, and the amount of softening secretion that they release from their mouths to escape the cocoon sometimes is not enough, and sometimes they're just simply not strong enough to make their way out of it. So yeah, in a lot of cases, really carefully, really professionally, do have to help them out of that cocoon, which breaks the silk. Again, useless in the silk industry, because they just take the thousands of cocoons that they have, throw them in the pot of boiling water, and take the silk from it. Eventually, the pupae on the inside. Believe it or not, people eat that, and sort of, in other countries, they eat that as a kind of street food, so it doesn't always go to waste, but it's still really sad. I don't appreciate that. I feel like as long as if people need material, we're a species that relies on material, items, and, getting resources from things, and in a kind of symbiotic harmony taken from other creatures. But I believe that as long as our intentions are the best we can and try not to cause as much harm, I can understand using silk, but in the way that it is used today, and realistically mass-produced and not cared what's killed or not, I don't agree with that, and I don't buy silk unless it's secondhand. Anyways, I do have a lot of things growing. I have, again, very lanky, very gross. I'm trying. I'm wanting to get a big UV to put over it. Or I'll probably take them outside once it gets warmer. But I have a bunch of beans. Bean leaves have malic acid, which is good for the polyphemus because they eat oak leaves. I'm experimenting. I'm not saying that this does work, but I wanted to try it anyway. So I have some peas and stuff growing too. Tomato, because obviously tobacco hornworms eat things from nightshade family. Tomatoes from nightshade family. That's something that they can eat, same as I believe potatoes, but not the root of it, the leaves. We obviously can't eat that, but they can. And that big mass in the middle, that's I buy this stuff. It has a ton of ingredients, as you can see. It's got things like kelp and watermelon, rose hips, marigold flowers, paprika. It's got all these vitamins. The molasses, hibiscus flower. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff in there, and that makes them real big and healthy, and they eat a lot of it. And that's good if you don't have tomatoes growing, but people buy these for their reptiles. If they're buying it for the reptiles, you don't want to feed them something poisonous like tomato leaves, because that'll be inside the caterpillar when you feed it to your other pet. But I'm raising these to grow out their whole cycle, so it's okay for me to do that. The mulberry silkworms. I have never come across a caterpillar as difficult to raise in my indoor climate as these guys. Everybody has an easy time, but everybody's humidity and temperature situation is different. That's rough. I am currently living in a very dry climate indoors, very dry, 75 degrees all the time. Caterpillars like warmth typically, warmth and a little bit of humidity, but these guys aren't doing the best that they can, obviously, but I try my best. The coconut fiber, don't mind my voice, coconut fiber flooring wicks excess moisture, which also will end up killing them because they'll end up drowning in their own, if you have them on a flat surface and you aren't constantly cleaning out their poos, they will die in that bacteria, and the moisture spreads disease, and it's just all in all a better idea to have something drying up the excess moisture, pulling and sucking all that bad stuff in, and having the moist stuff on top, like the food, because then they're able to eat it and get what they need from that without living in terrible conditions. Again, still, every process I do this is trial and error, and I learn a little bit every time, but it's really fun. It's really, really fun. It's difficult, but it's fun. And this little ma'am, sweetie, may I? May I? Come on. Sweetie, I'm sorry. How about you climb on me? I want to show you off. Okay? Okay. She's a real sweetie. She is a real sweetie. Let's look at that. Come on, can I see your wings? Please? Please, please? When she flies, it's so funny. Come on, show me those spots. Don't attack me. She's like, no, get off. Her wings are amazingly strong. Her wings are incredible. There we go. Show me those eyes. She's old, even though she's only a few days old. She's considered old. They only live like a week, if you're lucky. But she's old, so if she's slow, give her a break. Don't bully her. She's doing her best. She's an old woman. But we want to look at your beautifulness. I don't even think that's a word, but you know what I mean. They're so big, it takes them a long time, by the way, to warm up their wing muscles to fly. So they have to vibrate. When you see a moth vibrating, it's trying to warm up its muscles so that it can fly. She is laying more macaron eggs on me. Are you laying? Do you think I'm a plant? She thinks she likes laying macarons. You're laying little macarons. Little macaroni? Oh, what a cutie, sweetie. These are huge moths. We don't see them because they're in the top of the trees. And they die really quickly. And once they die, you know, other things are going to want to eat you. So that's why we never see them. And we don't really find them dead, too, often. And if we do find them dead, it's like a wing or a leg or something. Because something else, other birds, other bats, little rodents, other insects, things want to eat them. Beautiful little lady. Wow. I can't wait to record when I have... Oh, I have another macaron. Okay. I cannot wait to record when I have the hummingbird moths. They're so fun, but they are so loud because they were meant to fly. They were made for constantly flying and rapid wing movement. So they're always hyper and they're always drinking sugar. You can feed them undyed. Don't feed your hummingbird moths like the hummingbird food that has the dye in it. Dye's not good. Dye's not good for anybody. Dye sucks. Dye is unhealthy and unnatural. Don't feed a little creature. Don't feed it dye. So I get the undyed version. Where is it? In fact, I think I have some hidden somewhere here. I have 2 bottles, but it's the clear stuff. It doesn't look as pretty, but the moth will smell it just the same. It's got the calcium and it's got the sugar, and they can drink that, get the same energy as nectar from flowers. You don't have to go out and pick flowers. But, yeah, but they're loud because they don't just sit around all day doing nothing. They're just like always mating and always flapping around, and I had them in the metal cage. I had them in that. It's a mess. I put all sorts of crap in there. But, I had them in this. Imagine all night, 20 moths, something like that. That's what I had to deal with last year. So, no bueno. I wonder if in the mesh, I wonder if that'll be a lot less loud. I'll have to see. I used to have to put like 5 blankets on top of them so that I wouldn't hear as much of their pitter patter. Was that a small egg where she was placed? Oh my goodness. Let me see. Yes, that is. Oh, thanks for showing me. Once they dry up, these are really light colored, but they're big. There's some casing of the little green eggs, that little green thing. That's an empty case from one of the hummingbird moths last year. So that's how small the hummingbird moth egg is. Still big because it's a big moth, but this little macarons are polyphemus eggs. Huge. These are infertile because she obviously is the only one. And I can't put her outside in a mating cage right now because it's not season for the wild ones to be hatching, so she can't do anything about that. There's not going to be anybody out there who's going to smell her pheromones and come find her because they haven't hatched yet. They're going to hatch late May, early June-ish, but I can still find cocoons, but they're not going to really do anything. They're overwintering different temperatures. I brought these inside. They hatched earlier, so I am just praying and hoping that either some of these females wait until that month to hatch, or I get male and female to hatch while one of the others is alive. So, bargain. It's tough. It's an expensive hobby if you let it be expensive. I spent hundreds of dollars on this setup, so it's very frustrating to me if they don't hatch the same time, because that's a lot of money out for me. It's a great experience, but I'm not gonna want to spend $20 per moth to have it live for 4 days and die without any sort of reproduction or without any sort of continuing the cycle. So that's where my frustrations come from. But anyways, I'm thinking if anybody has questions, I'll sit here for a couple more minutes and see, because I do have to get ready for work soon. But figured I'd try and do a little live stream and talk about stuff. I'm going to try and live stream more stuff and draw more, make some more art, share with everybody, just more the way I want my channel to be. I'm not aiming for monetization right now like I used to. I have a good paying job. It's not a race for me anymore. I really wanted to be a content creator, but it's like right now I'm wanting to do it for myself, for fun, to help people, to talk to you guys and have a community. That's how I started out, and I really miss that, and I like that. I'm not going to let the internet become a place of competing, and that's what it's been for me and a lot of other people for a long time. It's easy to feel competition online. Who can get more followers? Ooh, I got more followers. Can I get more followers? Or how many views? Right now, what's important to me is community and being able to share. Well, first, how have you been? Hope it's been good. I've been really good lately. Trying to find myself more. There's a lot of things that, in my personal life, there's a lot of things that I feel could improve. So I've been going through highs and lows, mainly good, but trying to find myself. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's hard in life, learning yourself and trying to figure out, why do I do this? Why do I do that? Why do I think like this? And trying to do the best you can for yourself and the people around you. But all in all, I've been really good trying to explore that. I hope you guys are doing really good too. Get out there, do something fun. The job's been treating me really good. I never thought I would find so much peace working produce. I always lived under the assumption, oh, working at a grocery store is like a first job, and then you go to your dream job or something like years later. I'm perfectly content where I am right now. Are you guys eating plastic? Ooh. Oh, it's hornworms doing little fighty things. They fight little cats sometimes or food. Unbelievable. But the job's been treating me really, really good. I love everybody I work with. My boss is freaking amazing. We talk about stuff like pesticides and NPV and stuff, and it's great. It is just wonderful. And tonight, I close. I get the whole department to myself. It's my responsibility. And the people who talk to you, I'm not stuck behind a counter like I used to be. Standing in between people and their food, and obviously that makes people cranky. I don't blame them. But when I'm working this job, my interactions with people are 99.999% always very positive, very happy, and it's good to have positive people around and be able to share interests about apples and stuff. And I never thought I would imagine making a carrot display or washing greens for 3 hours in the sink every morning at 6. I go to work at 5:30 a.m. and I get out at a little after 2. And even though it's a bummer getting up early, I get up at 3 anyway, for fun. But I get the rest of the day to myself unless I'm closing shift. It's great. I love it. I could talk about that for hours, but if I had to say anything to you guys, strive to be happy. And sometimes you have to try new things to be happy, but I'm not afraid personally when I know it's not a risk. I'm not afraid to say, hey, this isn't working out. I'm getting really depressed doing this. I need to switch it up. And I did. And I strived for happiness, and I went out of my comfort zone, and I found happiness. And I found contentness somewhere where, obviously, most jobs aren't always sunshine and rainbows, but I feel I don't get depressed to wake up in the morning to go, and I don't feel stressed out and work and who's gonna talk to me this time or something. It's just really nice. Strive for happiness, even if it's right now and you're unhappy. Just think about something that will make you happy. Change it up a little bit. Put on good music or something. Clean up. Cleaning your space cleaning my space helps me feel in a better mood. And I get a nice snack, and I put on some good music, and I clean. I try something new. I rearrange my plants or something. Find a new moth setup that works well. But yeah, it's all good. Hey, Black Belt, sorry you just missed the stream. If you want to go back and see some of what you missed, please feel free. I do have to head off right now, but I wanted to make a little live stream and just have a good time with you guys and show off the moths and everything. Because Black Belt didn't get to see, I'm gonna quickly show him my Polyphemus. This is beautiful native moth, local moth to me. She is old, as you can see. But hey, can you show us your wings? Can you, ma'am? Well, I have her in the earlier parts of the live stream. But she's gorgeous. This is one of those giant silk moths that lives around here. Eastern United States. Beautiful. I showed that off a little bit. Looks awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Feel free to look back, watch what you want, have a good time. I know it wouldn't be live anymore, but Hey, anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Be happy. Do something happy for yourself. And I'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll live stream more. Have a good one. See you soon. Bye, everybody.